parental guidelines have always been a slippery slope. I mean, after all, who loves scary movies more than kids? Even though children these days have more access to adult content, it doesn't seem as if they rush to it as our generations did. A 10-year-old me would have literally done anything to get an R-rated slasher in my hands. Be it trading tapes with a fellow prepubescent fright junkie like myself, or tricking my mom in the video store that Jason Goes to Hell is a religious movie. There was no pride when it came to my tactics. Acquire horror by any means necessary. Cinematic terror was my drug. I learned everything I could from it. And if I'm being honest, I can confidently say I learned more about the female anatomy from scary movies than I had from any health class teacher. These were movies you didn't want to watch with your parents. Because if your parents liked it, there's no way it could be cool, right? Wrong. It's rare, but it can be done. Family horror movies. The list of great ones is small, but the film we're talking about today is at the top of the list. The cream of the crop. This flick is none other than Tobe Hooper's 1982 classic, Poltergeist. 1982 was right in the middle of the slasher canon. So to have a legendary director like Tobe, who gave us Texas Chainsaw, give us something so wholesome yet downright fucking scary, is an absolute testament to his legacy. And my favorite part about the movie is it illustrates the strongest thing this earth has ever seen. A family. Together they have to overcome this possessed house and find a way out together. The impact of this film is still felt today, and we're going to do our best to pay tribute to it. So without any further introduction, here is our take on Poltergeist.
Boom!
Fuck. You scared the shit out of me.
I really. I'm sorry. I thought you were doing it for the camera. I was like, or did you drop something?
I wasn't expecting that boom at all.
Boom!
Oh.
Welcome to the Sloppy Horror Podcast. I am your host and your scary movie companion, Christian Ramey. And back again for another week, clapping them cheeks and making me laugh. Mr. Ozark Mark, what's going on, dog?
Hello, Christian Ramey. Welcome back to it. We are here again.
We are, man.
For you, here on the airwaves or the tube you. For you. Mm-hmm. Back again with another fantastic scary movie to talk about here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast.
Dunstan checks in.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, we should really do it one time. We really should. I think if we did Dunstan checks in, it would be a great time. And I think you and I would love to do it.
Sure.
You know,
Sure.
or just throw the people off, because we have a lot of favorite movies. One time, promise me this before we get into this. We're going to do Analyze This and Analyze That at one time in our lives.
I don't think we can, dude. We won't be able to. Do you know?
Like, can we have like a watch party with those, or like just have somebody record us watching those? That would be the funny. Like, if you're looking for like a blooper reel, that movie's too funny.
Dude, that was one of my favorite movies.
Hands down.
Favorite movies to watch with you, I should say, because if I watch it with anybody else, it's not going to be as funny as it is if I watch it with you.
Something about like, just
you know
like,
how many times in my life I've said, that's fucking weird.
That's fucking weird.
Okay. Every time something's weird, I have to say it like that.
There's something funny about the gangsters, because they're so like, hey, like I'll kill somebody, but at the same time they're so like sensitive, and they're like nice dressers, and they like take care of your family. There's just like a funny like paradox in that, and I think those movies really nailed it on the head.
Oh, absolutely. But
Billy Crystal.
today's movie, Christian Ramey, cycle back here. We are talking about Poltergeist.
Well, we are talking.
1982.
Yes, we're talking about Poltergeist, folks, and there's sometimes some controversy around who was the director. But this is a Tobe Hooper movie, even though Steven Spielberg helped out a lot too, but have no doubt about it. This is a Tobe Hooper movie. People are like, who the fuck's Tobe Hooper? Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Tobe Hooper. That one.
Yeah.
That guy.
That guy.
So, folks, this is a groundbreaking film for many different reasons, and we're going to broach many different topics here. And the impact of this movie, how great it was to, like, for a family horror movie. We love that kind of stuff. We started to see a lot of those in the 80s. We're also, like, sometimes you do, like, I saw that Shudder did, like, an episode of Cursed Films on this. And I do enjoy that, but I don't really like to play some of the bad things that came out of, like, a few of the actors passed away, folks, that were in this movie. And that's not what this episode is all about, per se. We will cover that and kind of broach that, but I don't want this to be like a, hey, something crazy. I don't know. It's just sad that actors passed away, but these were kids and stuff. So this isn't some kind of supernatural. We want to get down to the impact of this film and what it really meant to everyone, because sometimes you have horror movies, and most of the times what happens, folks, is they're adult-oriented. You got some boobies in there, you got some sex stuff, you got some drugs, some drinking, or just some stuff that's just too scary. Very rarely do you have a movie that's aimed for a family and is still pretty fucking creepy. It's still pretty terrifying and still done very well. This is at the babe stages of some CGI, as far as for the 80s, and they were brave and adventurous, and I'm actually very happy for them swinging for the fences, because it made a very great film. I feel like your parents know Poltergeist. I mean, like, not just yours specific. I'm speaking to the audience as well. But this is a movie that crossed many, many different audiences, and it's kind of not being corny, but it really is an honor to, like, talk about this kind of movie, because we may be the only critics and, quote-unquote critics that talk about this movie that somebody might hear. They might know Poltergeist, but they might not have, like, a spin from a critic or, what have you. And that's kind of an honor, man. This is a huge, legendary film. And if you guys are unfamiliar with it, I guess we can give them a little synopsis. Does that sound fair? Do you like that idea?
Yes. Yes, I do.
He's a fan.
Yes, I do.
He's a fan of the idea. So what happens, guys? First off, we got a great cast, but Craig T. Nelson, he's the dad in the family. Okay, he's got 3 kids. What he does is work in real estate, kind of like sells houses. They're building like little subdivisions and building them by the masses, and he owns a home with one of them. Perfect, idyllic family. 2 daughters, middle kid's a son. It just perfect family. That's what made this movie touch home. We'll get into that later. Eventually, the youngest daughter, who's about 5 or 6, she starts having weird paranormal experiences where she's like talking to the TV, and like the mom's starting to get kind of freaked out. But this is like an old, like, not old, because, what's her name? Mary Beth Williams? Is that her name? She's,
Joe Beth Williams?
Joe Beth Williams. Why did I say Mary Beth?
I don't know, because Joe Beth is not a normal name.
I know, but I know her. Dude, she's like, and I'm going to tell you right now, dude, she's hot. I mean, she's old now, and I'd still probably bang her as an old lady, but she is so hot in this movie to me. I don't know what it is about her. It's just her approach as a mom and her, like, openness to what's going on. Because most times in horror movies, what do you have? The kids go to the parents, and they're like, get the fuck out of here. What, you got, crazy? I'm like, Mom, it's Fred Krueger. And she's like, wait a minute. Fred Krueger, he's in your dreams, go fuck yourself. Like, then no one cares about the kids. But in this particular movie, they did. I liked that a lot. I'm a father of 3, 2 daughters, middle kid is a son. It rings home, but it rang home before that. All right, anyways, aside from her being hot and being a good mom, she starts to notice weird things happening around the chairs, or like around the house, because her chairs keep moving around. Wow. Mm-hmm. So she's like one of those, she's always telling the kids to push the chairs in. And every time she goes back behind him and pushes them in, she'll turn around a couple minutes later and they'll be pushed out. And she's like, what the fuck? Well, then she starts talking with her youngest daughter. She's like, is it the TV people that you've been talking to inside the TV? Because the daughter will just look into a static TV and just start talking to it. They're like, what the fuck? But the mom's kind of got that like weird astrology, searching, spiritual kind of like vibe. And that's why I like her. And, eventually the daughter gets kidnapped into the spirit world by these spirit people, but she can communicate with them through the house, through the TVs. The family has to find a way to save their daughter and get them out of there and their other kids. Turns out at the end that their house was built on an Indian burial ground, this new subdivision that they've been building. There were graveyards there before. They just removed the headstones, but not the bodies. So everything's all fucked up and haunted, and the family lives. There's sequels. There's sequels, folks. So I think that's pretty prevalent and pretty well known. But I think in a nutshell, that's a premise that you guys can sit with. But back to the family part. These people being such a tight family, such a normal family, not your, hello, Leave It to Beaver family. Hello there, son. How are you? I'm doing well, Dad. Ha ha ha. Love my homework. Maybe I can play some ball after. Like that, no one acts like that, you know. And you can tell a sitcom style of family relationship. This was real. Like the mom and dad were smoking joints in the bedroom, like after the kids went to bed. But it wasn't like some weird like Cheech and Chong stoner thing, man. They were just two people in love, just loving their life.
It's just casual. Like, will you roll me one? Yeah.
he was trying, and they like dropped it all.
He's like, God, you do it.
Oh, you know the funniest part about that scene is like there's a wicked storm. There's a wicked fucking storm going on, and the kids, the son's about like maybe 10 and the daughter's like 5, 6, somewhere in that range. And they're smoking these joints and the son comes in and he's like, I'm afraid of the storm. And he's like, all right, I'll put you in bed. And he goes back in there. He's talking to the daughter and the son. He's like, hey, if you see lightning, count the seconds in between the thunder. And if it gets longer every time it happens, it means the storm's going away. And I bet you that's what's going to happen. Well, it doesn't. Like what was really funny was like as soon as that happened, it just cuts to a scene where the kids are both in bed asleep with mom and dad. I don't know why. But that's so relatable. It's so relatable. Here's mom and dad smoking a joint, trying to love each other. You think it's about to be a fun night with them, and then fucking kids are sleeping in bed with you. Sometimes that shit just happens, and that's just the way the cards fall down. But it was an honest family, and I'm not kidding, dude. JoBeth, I don't know what it is about her in this movie. It's more than Phil in Black Christmas. It's more so than Phil in Black Christmas.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But I love the style of mother she is. I love that, man. Like, because her kid starts having weird shit going on, and she doesn't really bust her balls about it. She's like, what do you mean? Like, she's just trying to be so receptive, and I love that. I love those movies where families end up winning. Even though Last House on the Left is brutal, there's some pretty intense sexual assault scenes. But
just a little bit.
Yeah, it's a very intense scene in that movie. But the parents get revenge. The family gets revenge. And that redemption is the crux of the movie to me, not the bad thing. And I love that so much to me. Yes, this is a horror movie, but to me at the bottom of this, it's like just such a strong family movie of like, what the hell would your family do if some shit went down? Like, what do you do? What the hell do you do? And another thing with me is the son in this movie, Robbie. There's something about a boy before he's like really grown into himself, before he's like, like I'll beat your ass, but like a little boy, because he like wants to be tough and brave, and everything he looks up to, I don't care if it's like wrestling or like comic books or Star Wars or whatever the hell it is, you look up to heroic, brave characters. And since you're little, you have bro code. You're like, no, leave no man behind. Like when you're little, we have that. I don't know what that is, but it's so funny to see this little boy's fear throughout the movie, because you're like, oh, fucking poor kid. He's just sitting there like watching the fucking storm, and you're like, you remember what it's like to be that age and just be vulnerable?
Plus a clown staring at you, a creepy clown. And it's like, that thing starts moving, he's just like, like you can't, there's the point when you're a little kid, like you were so scared at some point, you're like, you don't know what to do. You just like, you got to focus on breathing. Like that's the first thing.
Well, girls get the option to scream. Girls get the the terrified, I'm going to scream till everyone comes and helps. But like as a boy, you're trained, don't cry. you deal with it like a fucking man. So like you've got this like I'm not scared. Oh, it's not real. It's not real. And like I thought this kid killed it this whole movie of just trying to like be brave, but he's just so fucking scared. Like, I tell you what, as a Star Wars fan though, there is some pretty sick memorabilia this kid has. Did you see that C-3PO light switch he had?
No.
Oh, dude, it's fucking sick. It's his head.
Oh, it is?
You're not a big Star Wars guy,
No.
but you know who C-3PO is, the robot guy, the gold guy. Mm-hmm. He had a light switch. Like, it was the light switch panel, but it was his whole head. And I was like, oh, that's fucking sweet, man. But that Chewbacca... I love this kid's room. It's just, like, the coolest, like... it just reminds me of childhood. Just the posters and the sports memorabilia, the Star Wars, the fantasy. He had an Aliens poster. It's just really cool to me.
Yeah, you could definitely tell this is a different time period, too, when this movie was made, because when those guys are digging their yard for the pool, and they're like teenage daughters, and like, what is she, like a senior, a junior, a sophomore or something?
In real life, Dominique Dunn, I think, was in her 20s when filming this, but she was supposed to be a senior in high school.
Right, okay, so she's a senior in high school, like, going out with a backpack... with a bike, okay? Like, if a girl comes out with a backpack and a bike and a school shirt, she's too young for you, dog.
Yeah, that's a child.
And they're all catcalling her, like, and the mom's just like, oh, whatever. Like, she doesn't do anything about it. Like, what? Like, these dudes just hit on a high school girl, like, theoretically.
I thought that those guys were
like,
some of the best humor in the movie, and I don't know we'll find out later what your favorite part is, but like I feel like those guys are incorporated into one of your favorite parts of the movie just because they make me laugh. Like, do you remember when he came into the window?
He started eating.
He took like, so they're working on the pool, right? And they got their kitchen window open. And this fucking guy who's working on the pool just has his whole body inside of the window, and he just takes the wooden spoon and he grabs like a spoonful of cooking chili that this mom is making. And like, I mean, she's not in the kitchen. He just fucking puts the whole spoon in his mouth, like the whole fucking thing. Like, he didn't like put it on a cracker and take a bite. This motherfucker put the whole wooden spoon in his mouth. And then he drank her coffee.
Yeah, there's some good coffee.
Boy, you sure do know how to make some good coffee. I don't know why it seems so funny to me.
I don't know either.
That guy seems like not a bad guy, but he's just not smart. Like, you know.
Dude, what would you do, honestly, if you went into your kitchen and a chair moved by itself across the room, and then you put it back, and then it moves again? Like, what would you do? Like, how would you really react to that? Because she's, like, excited, like, something's going on. Would you think it's paranormal at first, or would you think it's some kind of tectonic electrical force from the earth shifting or some weird shit or some vortex in the fucking earth or something? Like, I don't know how I would react to that.
Us being us and, like, this, the host of the Sloppy Horror and, like, you know, the co-host, like, I'm just gonna, like, if something like that happened, it's, like, not like I'm petrified, but it's like, hey, I'm gonna let you know right now, that ain't right, and we're getting the fuck up out of here. Like, we're not going to stay here to figure this shit out. And especially once it started getting crazy. When she put her daughter down in that circle.
And then the daughter... Okay, once the daughter moved, I was like, all right, now it's time to go.
Craig T. Nelson, it was a great dad, too, because he was scared. He
no,
was
he's like,
what
the
fuck?
He's like, nobody go in the fucking kitchen until I figure this out.
Of course, they put it on Dad. Yeah, she's jazzed up. But like I said, she's kind of like astrology and kind of like, you know, ooh, I'm spiritual. What's happening?
When they go over to that neighbor's house that they've been fight with the TV clicker on.
Dude, that's a great scene. Yes.
Well, first in the beginning, like there's some guy. He's on a bike and he's got a thing of beer, and he's like going through the neighborhood. Okay, and the kids in the neighborhood like make him wreck with their 2 remote controls, right? So
they got RC cars.
Yeah,
so they cut in front of his bike.
Yeah, so he eats shit and the beer's going everywhere. So he just grabs whatever he can and goes to their house, and one of the beers is just spraying everywhere, but he don't give a fuck.
When he comes in the room,
I was like, why the fuck? Because I haven't seen this since I was like a little fucking kid, and I barely remembered any of it. So I'm like, why the hell is this guy going into the house with a beer spray? And I was like, oh, I get it. Okay, there's a football game on. Okay.
Yep. If it's like a playoff game for you.
No, the Bengals are in the playoffs, okay? Well, technically, it would be 2 days ago when this episode comes
He
out.
didn't even fight the kids. He just dealt with the trip. He's like, I don't give a fuck.
Dude, I wouldn't give a fuck. I would grab whatever beer I got. If we were watching a game at your house, you want me to go get beer and that happened to me, there would be beer around your house. I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm getting back to the TV. But
kids these days wouldn't understand that remote control scene, I don't think.
You don't think so? Kids still have remote control cars.
No. I'm talking about the television and the clicker.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they both had, like, the neighbors each had cable boxes, but they're like, so the neighbors on the same walls of their house, they had, their TVs were close to each other. So the neighbor on this window had a TV, and then their family had the TV there. So every time one would change the channel, it would change the channel on their neighbor's TV, and they'd get pissed. So all these fucking guys are yelling at the TV and the football, and it just keeps switching back to Mr. Rogers. He goes out to his neighbors. He's like, I'm trying to watch the game here. It's a big game. He says, hey, my kid wants to watch Mr. Rogers. He's got a fucking big cigar. And they like getting this little like clicking war back and forth.
It's something I would do too. Like, fuck you.
Fuck you, dude. Fuck you. Try to watch it now, cocksucker.
But after they find the chair move and everything, I love how they go to that same guy's house. They're like, hey, Ben. It's like they're fucking stoned. Like, they keep getting mosquitoes, and he's just, mosquitoes haven't bitten me. They beat you? No. Like, they try to ask him if something weird's happening. Funny.
Dude, that was a funny scene. Yeah, they went to their neighbor's house, seeing what's going on, and their chemistry, they were in a movie, what movie was that where they were together? Craig T. Nelson and Joe Beth Williams. I forget what fucking movie that is. All right, it'll come to my brain. But they have chemistry, and it's obviously apparent.
Yeah.
They were great parents.
John?
They were great parents.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the question mark. Once your kid or like your loved one goes missing in a ghost spirit world, how do you take that? Who you getting for help? I mean, these people got paranormal people, but like, where's your first go?
Zach Bagans.
Hey, dog. My girlfriend's stuck in a TV.
I don't know who else to call. Like, he's the only legit dude. He's got a museum of shit. Like, he's got to know what to do. Or he knows somebody that knows what to do.
Ghostbusters, what do you want? Yeah, that was just...
Those paranormal people crack me up.
They do. I
don't care what... It's always every movie that has paranormal. The paranormal people that they get to come to the house are always hilarious and always a good time.
Did you see
I remember,
Haunted House?
He gets there and... I think it's it's the black guy there. He's like, yeah, once I recorded a car moving across the room, went one to the end of. It's like it was over 5 hours, but it moved. And then Steve, the dad's like, oh yeah, okay. And he opens the door and shit's just floating around,
spinning around in this room
like it's normal.
Honestly, the acting is supreme. I thought the kids did great. The fear of the son, the youth of the daughter. I mean, Heather O'Rourke, rest in peace. She passed away after the third one. She just, which is super sad, but sometimes people say the movie was cursed and that's why. And I think that's really unfair to do to the parents because that's a real person.
Well, why do they say the movie's cursed?
Well...
Just sum it up. We don't have to go into it too long. I know you don't want to dwell on it, but why is it cursed?
There's skeletons inside of the swimming pool scene. So when she falls into the skeleton or into the pool that they've been digging up, there's skeletons in there, and those were real skeletons. And are there rumored to be? And a lot of times we've discussed they did use real skeletons in movies.
Oh yeah, because where they're cheaper,
Mm-hmm.
way cheaper, like in Texas Chainsaw.
Mm-hmm. They're a lot cheaper to get, so. Some people said that, and then also Dominique Dunn, the older daughter, after this first movie, was killed by her boyfriend. He was like it was like a passion, like crime of passion. He just really loved her, fucking crazy, manipulative asshole boyfriend. Fucking, they got in a fight and he fucking killed her. So she died, and then later afterwards Heather died, and then after the second one. But the second, you remember in the second one, Reverend Kane, it's a nice day for walking, the creepy old dude that looked like he was a day away from death. That guy had like really bad stomach cancer when filming that, and I don't know, people have tried to parallel all the deaths together and all the creepy situations together, and I understand, and it is fun for like fun fan theory, but like, you know, at the same time, like there are parents out there, these are people's kids and shit, so it's like that's kind of like we'll let them decide if it's weird or not, you know, like I don't want to like just speak, you know, like that's not a movie. We're not talking about a movie death. We're talking about real life. That was a child, you know. And Heather O'Rourke, like, I'm not just pandering because she's passed away or trying to, like, you know, but she really is a great actress. Like, you know, when her little bird died, like, I mean, you really believe her. Like, she's a cute kid, man. Like, that's a definite great kid actor.
I even more believe that after they bury the bird, they're like, can I get a goldfish now?
Such a kid answer. Like,
tell me the dog in the beginning, just having the time of his life, just walking around room to room, eating shit.
Just trying, yeah, being the best, living the best life he can.
Yeah, I'm glad nothing happened to the dog.
I am too.
Although, when they left the house, I don't know what happened to the dog, because the dog wasn't with them at the end.
You know,
so I don't know what happened to the dog. I'm assuming it ran away.
You know what is strange to me, though? Like, you know, not in a cursed sense, but when you watch a film with somebody who passes away not too long after that, and I'm not even talking Heather in this first film, I'm talking Dominique. Because she died, like, pretty much just, like, you know, after this first movie. Like, she wasn't in the second one. That's kind of cool to, like, I mean, hypothetically, if I were to, like, pass away next month, like, it would be neat that we have, like, in my prime, like, we have proof of that, because there are so many people, unfortunately, that you lose, and there's not proof of that. So, like, how cool to, like, you went out on top, man. Like, I mean, she killed it too. Like, she was like a fucking great actor. You went out on top. Like, you didn't get old and sell out and fucking, which is sad. I wish you would have went old, but, like, you know, there's something beautiful in that. And yeah, it's fucking crazy when you see people in films and, you know, like Colin Clive in The Bride of Frankenstein. He only lived for like a year after that, maybe less than a year. And you watch that and you're like, damn, dude, this is it. This is it for you, bro. Like, that's kind of what you look like when you left the world. Like, it's like some vampire shit. You left the world beautiful. Like, you know, like there's a beauty in that. Like, because even if you get to live to have an old, beautiful life, you're going to be ugly. You know, you're going to be old and pretty. You're going to be old and pretty. They go out beautiful on top. Like, you know, like that's kind of there's a beauty in that, man. So, but yeah, I didn't want to pander too much on that or pay too much, you know, because as a parent, like I don't want to touch on anything too insensitive, but I think they all they really felt like a family. I felt like these people were family. And what's crazy, even though Robbie's the only surviving member, which is weird, but to think like that family, that could have been like if they would have had like a reunion thing, people would have loved that. I mean, that's like unfortunately, I mean, like with Bob Saget dying and all his kids on Full House reaching out, it's just like, yeah, you just get to a point where like some people feel like families on TV. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you just got that right chemistry and y'all crushed it. And what's interesting about Tobe Hooper is his range. I mean, obviously, I think a lot of the family aspect came a little from Steven Spielberg, but just to have that fucking range is incredible to me. Because he did, after Texas Chainsaw, I mean, he had Salem's Lot. He comes into this. I mean, Tobe Hooper was a fucking legend. Not many people are saying his name when they're saying, you know, Wes Craven, John Carpenter, George A. Romero, you know. When they start talking about, you know, Argento, put fucking Hooper's name in that mix, too. You put some respect on this boy's name. Because he's good. He's good. And he honestly, out of like some of the out of many people that you see interviewed, he was like one of the most chilled back, like, he had like Greg Popovich vibes, you know, the coach for the Spurs. You know, just like real like lay back, like kind of vibes. I really appreciated his work. You just don't see that much, Mark. It's a horror film these days, and usually it's brutal, and which we love.
It usually is, man. This is like it's got like Ghostbusters feel. It's got like what else is it? It's got like Goonie vibes, you know what I mean? Like where it's like it's a family movie, but there's some shit going down.
And it doesn't puss out. Like it goes full. Yeah,
which is crazy because I'm telling you, like I remember last time. I can't remember the last time I watched this movie, but I knew I was super young back when like tube TV stuff like that. And the only thing I remember, because when I first turned it on, I was like, this is PG. I was like, how the fuck is this PG? Because I didn't barely remember the movie at all. Only thing I remembered was that pool scene of her falling in there and skeletons going around. And I must have been really fucking young, because that's the only thing I remember. I was like, oh shit, this is kind of like a scary movie. I must have been like 6 or something. I don't remember, but that's the only thing I've ever remembered from this movie is that.
What movie were we discussing where we were talking about that changed the ratings? Where they went P, like it was Indiana Jones that year and something else.
Oh, it wasn't. It was no, it wasn't Exorcist, was it? No.
The fuck was that, Mark? You know what I'm talking about?
I know. I remember the
exactly
conversation. I just don't remember what movie we were doing.
So.
Which I should know because it's something that you may or may not know.
Was it Monster Squad?
No.
Okay.
It has to be a PG-13 movie. You know what I mean? Anyway, let's not dwell on that. Because I'm sure somebody's going to remember.
Somebody's going to remember. We're going to figure it out, okay? We're going to figure it out real quick, Mark, because we have some episodes here that we have done.
Figure it out.
Gremlins?
Yep.
Gremlins was it.
That should have made sense because Steven Spielberg was in on it.
Fucking the Grims.
The Grems.
The little fucking furry fucks.
Yeah.
I said that like some Andrew Dice Clay. The little furry fuckers.
Tell me that video didn't crack you up
Where he was smoking in the airport?
Yeah, there's just, I don't know, I guess that was his wife or whatever. But for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, it was a TikTok or whatever, and it's just Andrew Dice Clay getting off a plane in Reno in the airport. And he's just smoking, minding his own business. His wife's like, what are you doing? He's like, you can't do that in here. What do you mean? It's Reno.
She's like, that doesn't mean anything. He's like, yeah, you can do whatever you want.
He's like, you can do whatever you want here. Actually, I think you can. There's no people here. It's like a mall. And he just continues smoking. I'm pretty sure Andrew Dice Clay is the only person in the United States that can smoke anywhere he wants to.
He's got that big dick energy just coming in like, what are you going to do about it? I'm leaving. I'm walking out the door. You can't stop me from leaving. You going to stop me from leaving? I'm leaving right now. like, yeah, that was really funny.
Well, Christian Ramey, this is a fascinating movie. I'm even more fascinated to figure out something that you may or may not know about this movie. All right, here we go here. Welcome to the What Do You Know here. This is a segment here where we're here to tell you something that you may or may not know about this movie. I'm Marky Bananas. That's Chrissy Pamey. Chrissy Pamey over there. So we're here to tell you something that you may or may not know. Now, you may know what we know or you may not know what we know. But if you don't know what we know, you're about to find out what we know, then you have a we know-gasm. But if you already know, you're already late to the party, your pants are sticky, you've already been there, and we're good. So here we go. All right, I'm going to start off here with a fact here. Okay, so check this out, right? In this movie, Dominic Dunn, she plays Dana.
The older sister, yeah.
The first daughter.
Yeah.
She is the sister to somebody. Now, you remember The American Werewolf in London.
I know that movie.
You know the character?
We did that movie.
You know Jack?
Yeah, the guy that got bit.
Griffin Dunn?
Yeah. Oh.
They're brother and sister.
Oh.
They are brother and sister. What a fact. You didn't know that. You didn't put the two Dunns together, did you? No, you didn't.
No, but that's very nice.
Thank you very much.
That's very nice.
Thank you.
A horror family.
Yes.
A family of horrors.
Family of horrors.
Your whole family's horrors.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to know something crazy?
Yeah.
So initially, you gotta think of who was coming out hot at this time.
Hot.
Coming hot.
Hot like sausages.
Stephen King.
Yeah.
Stephen King, the king himself,
Yeah.
was set to write this script initially, but I guess he was asking for too much money, and it didn't work out that way. And Steven Spielberg said, no, thanks. But no hard feelings.
Sure.
But initially, I mean, this happens a lot. This is a common fact with that happens with movies where it's sometimes supposedly supposed to be one, but this is the king. I mean, I'm not just trying to be like a nerd here saying some scary movie stuff, but for real, like if you really look at it, Stephen King, he's had so many fucking adaptations in the movies where it's like, bro, you've controlled the horror game for the last 30, 40 years, and I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining. Like, it's just fucking crazy to think about. So when his name comes into the picture, we gotta talk about it.
That's pretty fucking interesting.
That's a good fact.
That's a very good fact.
Hey, that was a good one, wasn't
Stop
it?
trying to make me laugh. I already lost it
You
once.
like that, babe?
With your stupid ass. Stop. I'm not looking at you. I'm focusing on the microphone. Stop it.
I read that fact.
Okay, so I got another fact here. You ready for this here?
Yeah.
Okay, check this. check
Daddy
this out.
told me fight.
So the chair scene, all right, when they in the kitchen and the chairs move, she puts them back.
Oh, when they all stack up like
Well,
a
you would-
fucking that was kind of cool actually. I like that scene. Even though she didn't seem that scared by it, but if I turned around and my chairs were stacked up like that, I would shit my pants.
Yeah. So,
Go on.
anyways, about that scene that I was going to talk about.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So, anyways, so that was all done in one shot.
No way.
Yes, it was. It was all done in one shot. So when she scoots them in for like the second or third time, and then she goes back, and then she turns around, and they're all stacked up, the crew took the chairs and then replaced it with the already assembled chairs and threw it on top of the table in one take. One continuous shot.
Was
No-
cocaine on the set? That's
Somebody
some
had
hustle,
that.
baby.
Somebody had some cocaine. They had weed, so
Hey.
somebody's got cocaine there.
I'm giving that the golf club. That's impressive, dog. Like, just because I've seen this movie so many times, I know exactly what the fuck
It's
you're
literally
talking
like
about.
2
it's like
seconds.
a Jenga fucking
It's like-
stack of chairs.
Yeah, they got like 2 seconds to get it over there, and they did it. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's actually really fucking badass.
That's pretty fucking amazing.
Very impressive.
Yes,
I like that fact a lot.
that's a
Now,
good fact.
I've got one more for you, because this is Poltergeist, so it deserves 4 facts.
Sure, I like
mean, this
I
is
love-
really a pillar.
Yeah, I love Poltergeist.
Yes. So, we know a young actress by the name of Drew Barrymore.
Yeah.
Drew Barrymore,
Well,
which
she's
is
not
really
young,
funny.
she's-
If you really wanted to look at face shapes, her and I, like, she looks like my mom, and I have the same face shape as her, if you really look down to it.
I think you look like Sandra Bullock.
I do. But even my daughter fucking looks like her. Like, it's really strange, like, if you look at, like, fucking young E.T. But anyways, where that ties in.
Yeah.
Drew Barrymore tried out to be Carol Ann for Poltergeist. And Steven Spielberg said, I like you, but not for this. I'm going to put you in a little picture I call E.T. So, she tried out and didn't get this, but she got another job, and obviously that was legendary and set her career off. And then she did Firestarter, she did Cat's Eye, she did a whole fucking array of horror movie films, and she got fucking wild, she got crazy. I love Drew Barrymore.
Yeah, she married Tom Green.
Yeah, I mean, what the fuck? Yeah, that makes you cool. That makes you cool in my book. That
Sure.
shows that you've got a sense of humor.
Yeah.
Hey.
Very good, very good. Wow, those are some great facts here for Poltergeist. Do you know any other facts?
Would this ruin the mic?
Yes.
Okay.
Do not do that.
Well, we talked about the skeletons initially. We talked about that stuff. So I don't have any other kind of broad fact besides that. The only thing I really will say is, to that point again, even though they said there was drama, they tried to play like there was more drama between Tobe Hooper and between Steven Spielberg than there actually was. Even though they was like kind of touchy because they both really had their, their dicks in the hole really making this movie, but they played it off like these two hated each other, and they don't really. They don't. Anytime you heard any one of them talk about each other, it was the utmost respect. So you get two different-minded people coming together, putting this together, and that's some stuff you might not know. So even though they make it seem like they don't like each other, they did. Or they do, because Steven's still alive. He's still here. Cincinnati, baby. Cincinnati native.
That's great. Fantastic.
Hey.
What a load of facts here. We just gave you a bulge of facts for yourself here. Way to go.
Whoa.
All right.
Whoa.
Until next time,
Whoa.
that's Chrissy Pay Me. I'm Lucky Bananas. This is the What Do You Know here.
Well, that was a real fact burger helper, wasn't it?
A fact burger helper.
I'm just joshing with you, guy. I don't mean to get too serious.
It's not even that funny, but it caught me off guard.
That boom caught you off guard.
I know.
You're about to pull your weapon on me. Mark almost shot me down here.
No, I didn't. I don't have my gun on me, so chill out.
No, he does. He shows me.
No.
Mark's one of them guys that always has a grenade.
No,
a
I
gun,
don't. Dude, I hate
and
those
a knife.
guys that, like when guys carry around guns, they like pull out their gun. And like,
I hate that shit too.
it's like, okay, I get it. You have a gun. That's great.
That's cool, bro.
Nobody's scared of you that you have a gun.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, that shit would piss me off.
Me too.
Tell you what, man. That medium in this movie, cracking me up.
She's been in a lot of stuff, dude. What the hell is that lady's name?
What is that lady's name? But her voice is just nuts.
I
think she's done a lot of voiceover work too, hasn't she?
Absolutely, she's done a lot of voiceover work. God damn it, she's gonna piss me off because I want to. Zelda Rubinstein or
Yeah.
Rubinstein. I don't know how the fuck you say it.
Rubenstein.
Yeah, she.
Carol Ann, get out of the light.
Yeah, she's just got that like great voice. She was in what was
She
that?
really-
16 Candles. She's in a lot of movies.
She lightens the mood of the movie, honestly. Like, when things start to get intense and you bring in this lady, you can't take her serious when she's talking.
You guys got a podcast.
She just got such a fucking voice that's like not. No one else has it.
No.
No one else has
Nobody
it.
can even imitate that voice. It's just some fucking shit happened when you were in the womb and like strangled your throat that made you have that noise.
Yeah, she passed away. R.I.P. Love that lady. She
Mm-hmm.
was fucking awesome. And her name's Zelda. What kind of fucking shit is that? That's cool, man.
Yeah.
Your name's Zelda? I'm jelly. I wish my name was Zelda.
Caroline.
Carol Ann,
I'm gonna lie.
you must tell her.
Christian Ramey, what's your favorite part of this movie? Please tell me.
You know, it's weird. I hadn't thought about that up to this point. Aside from the, and you know, it's like aside from the family bond, because I really do, man. I'm not trying to be sappy, but I really do appreciate that. It's just fun. They're like good. It's a good mom and a good dad. Like you wish that was your mom and dad, like a mom and dad like that. Even if you got a good mom and dad, it's just these guys are awesome in that sense. But if I had to go a favorite scene, it would probably be the son when he's by himself, just fucking afraid, and you're just seeing him like counting the thunder and the lightning, and then he throws his like Star Wars jacket over the clown, because I really liked that clown. But that was such an honest scene, and like I'm sure little girls went through that too. But it's like when you're a little boy, like you just totally understand. You're trying to be brave and tough, but this dude's like, nah, bro, like fuck this clown. He ain't gonna look at me no more, man. Like it was so real. There was such a realness to it that I really liked that. It's either that or the guy stealing the chili. That's really funny. But what about you, Mark? What are you going with here?
I'm going with the part of the movie where the portal isn't open now, and they tie her to a rope. And then Diane, the mom's like, I'm going in after my daughter. And Zelda's like, no, you can't go in there. You don't know what you're doing. You've never done this before. And the mom's like, you haven't either. And then Zelda's just like, You're right, you go. She's like, fuck that, I ain't going in there, you go.
I know, man. That's what, like, she was just such a badass mom. Like, even though she's just like a, I don't want to say like a trophy wife kind of thing, but she's just like a beautiful, hot mom. And she's like, nah, but I'll throw it down for my kids. I'll fight these demon creatures and shit. I really appreciated that mindset. So many people would be like, fuck this, I'm out.
You know, it's a cool little thing I noticed too. Like, if you are a watcher of adult cartoons, Family Guy, okay? Now, Family Guy has gone downhill a lot. It's got overdone and overwashed. But there is one episode that they did very well, and they did the Poltergeist episode, where they pretty much did an entire parody of the movie in like 30 minutes.
I feel like I've seen it, but I don't know if I had. It's weird it's not sticking out.
Dude, if you haven't watched it, it's an entire episode of Poltergeist. And they do everything to a T in the movie. Like, down from Stewie going to the TV, like, you know, the pervert Herman is the psychic trying to help him and all this. And they did everything that was, all the main points of the movie were hit in the cartoon and followed the story. And they just made funny. Everything till the very end where they go to a motel and they put the TV out, you know. They hit everything to a T, and it's so funny watching it in reverse now, because the last version I saw was Family Guy doing that. Now you watch this movie, like, oh shit, like they're hitting it to a T. It's a cool little thing to, you know, watch.
Oh, yeah. And then, you remember in Scary Movie 2, like where the ghost, I don't want to say the R word, but the ghost rape scene.
Yeah.
Where she came in and like she had the same jersey as the mom did when she was getting like her shirt pulled up when she was in bed. When you think everything's safe and then they comes back for a second time.
Yeah.
Replayed that scene out. That was kind of funny. And then obviously the clown scene, it got Ray, but it like was doing, like he like captured him again.
Smokey got in like the tree.
Oh, like when it smoked. When it fucking smoked him.
Yeah.
Smoked Shorty. Like,
it's so stupid but funny.
Oh, dude, I love those movies. I do. They are well, the first two, at least, I really love. Mm-hmm. Those two movies were really funny. But Poltergeist, man, there are pillars in horror, and this one is definitely it. Like, not enough can be said. This is our 41st episode together, Mark.
Is it?
41st.
Wow.
And it's crazy that we've been through 40 films and haven't covered Poltergeist yet.
There's too many to cover, man. It's going to take a while.
It is, and that's really neat and interesting.
It's going to take a while.
You really don't think, like, because even if, like we're saying right now, it's going to take a while because there's so many more, but isn't that weird to think that you've seen that many fucking movies? Like, you've seen 41 movies at least, and that's the tip of the iceberg. Like, yeah. That's crazy. Like, you're like, nuts. Damn, like, I've seen a lot of fucking movies. Yeah. Like, you don't really think about it till you start putting these sons of bitches down on paper.
Right.
And you're like, God damn, dude.
Well, I'm curious to see where this rates as a horror movie on our scale of movies that we've already done. Christian Ramey, let's get into it right now. Go.
Sloppy horror rating, baby, yeah!
Oh yeah, baby boy. It's the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. This is the segment of the show. If you're not familiar, Christian Ramey is a horror movie nerd, and he's going to rate this movie as a horror movie, not a movie in general, so keep that in mind. We're going to do this in a series of 4 categories. Treat categories worth 3 points. Last category is worth 1 point for a total of
10 points altogether.
Yes, it is.
We're rolling through, baby.
Yeah, we are.
I like this. I love our ratings. I'm not going to lie, because I even though sometimes you might get a wonky number or a number that might not feel right, I really, in my heart of hearts, when I think of a horror movie, I think these categories make it. And I like that my fuck with it category is only a 1 point thing, because that a lot of times, like if you go through Siskel and Ebert, because whether you want to agree with it or not, Mark, you're a movie critic, or at least you have been for 41 movies. Mm-hmm. And that being said, a lot of times people are like, I think this movie's trash, or I think this movie's like, amazing, and I'm going to put it on a level. I really like the fact that we can try to, even if we don't like it, we can at least rate it in a few categories before we get down to our personal opinion.
Well, yes, this is a very practical and fair scale. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So since we're talking about the scale, let's get on to the first category here in the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is casting.
I mean, honestly, it's the strongest category. It's the strongest category out of all these categories. Even out of the fucks with it category, there is just a way, we discussed earlier, they just look like a family, dude. And there's no like way about it where it's like, it even feels forced. Like that feels like an honest family. It shows the ups, the downs, the lefts, the rights. It's not perfect. They're not perfect. Like, hello, Dad. Like, it's not that way. It's just a real family. Craig T. Nelson, Joe Beth Williams, Dominique Dunn, Heather O'Rourke. They all just fucking crushed it. That Zelda lady. There wasn't a person where you thought like, oh, okay, that's a little campy or that's a little weird. Like, you don't get that at all. Everybody gels well together. I'm giving this a fucking 3.
Yep, you very well get sucked into it. And sucked into the idea and the feel of things. So that's good. All right, so that's 3 out of 10 so far here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast ratings. Going to the second category here in the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is kills.
Did Mr. Teague die? I don't know if he did, but what's guy's name? What Return of the Living Dead guy? Karras? What the fuck is that guy's name?
No, he didn't die.
James Karen.
Yeah, he didn't die.
He got hit with that shockwave, though, right?
Get a hold of yourself, Frank. No. This is a family style of horror movie. This is PG. I don't think there's no. He didn't die.
So there's no death, folks.
No death. That is a 0. I can tell already.
There's a 0, folks. And as great as Poltergeist is, when we are talking horror films, what is it that people fear the most?
Death.
That's right, Mark. And if you have 0 death, that definitely adds to the factor of kills. So we're going to have to give this a 0.
Damn. First 0, I think, in kills ever. Well, it makes sense, though, because there aren't any deaths in it.
Yeah, but it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal.
No
Not
big
a
deal.
big deal.
No big deal. All right, so that's still 3 out of 10 so far after 2 categories. Going to the third and final 3-point category here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is fear.
Now, Mark, I have pondered this a little. Pondered a little.
Just a little.
I really feel confident and comfortable at it, too. Now, if you're a person like you or I, you and I aren't afraid of a whole lot. Like, just like kind of, you and I, apparently we're like not the norm anymore. Apparently, you know, your Clint Eastwood, John Wayne, like fucking tough guy approach. Like if you, like Mark, hypothetically, you could get shot right now. And if it wasn't bad, you'd be like, nah, I'm all right. I'm good. I'm all right. Leave me alone. All right. I'll go by myself. You have that mindset of like, I'm okay. Let's make sure everyone else is okay. But we're a little cold. But I'm thinking about this, Mark, and especially since kills is so low. I feel like this deserves it too because it's such a family-oriented thing. Are you going to shit your pants scared? No, I don't think so. But as a parent, dude, there are times like watching this movie, like I'm not saying like I'm tearing up, but you're like, fuck, dude, like your kids, bro, that's scary. Like I don't care about nothing else. Like I would never want to see anything happen to you, but you're a grown man. If I was hanging out with you, Mark, and some demon creature came out and sliced my head off, you would care less about that than if my kids got their heads sliced off. Like, you know what I mean? Like you'd be like, oh shit. So like there's just a level of like your family and kids. There's a vulnerability with kids, and I think they do such a great job at building the suspense. It's not just like, here's a creepy thing. It doesn't make sense.
Well, then you think it's all over, and then they get hit again.
It does a wonderful job.
This house is clean.
No, it ain't.
Yeah, she does like the little...
This house is clean.
All right, so that's 2. That's a total of...
Do you agree that... Do you hate that? I know you're not... Like, Mark, I feel like I could show you real-life cartel and, like, Taliban videos, and you'd be like, fuck them dudes. Like, you're a tough dude, Mark. You're a tough dude. With fear.
Thank you.
Like, that's that's always the category. I always feel the most worrisome that you're going to look at me like, whatever, weirdo. Like, you know what I mean? Because you, but I feel the same as you, but that's kind of a tough category because I really try to incorporate everyone.
Well, it's a tough category. I was originally thinking like 1.5, but after you said the kid aspect into it, which gets more fear in towards the adults, and 2 makes sense to me.
There was a brokenness in Craig T. Nelson where he's like, dude, what the fuck is going on? Where's my daughter? Like, there's this kind of like
well, sure,
blank out
when you
look
look at it like that way, yeah.
And so that gives that to me.
Okay.
Kids involved, I'm giving it a 2.
All right, so that is 5 out of 10 so far here. After 3 categories, let's go on to the final 1-point category for half a point each, asking if we fucks with this movie here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. So, Christian Ramey, do you fuck with Poltergeist 1982?
Yeah, 100%.
Ooh, what a toy.
100%. It's a fantastic movie.
Yes.
And folks, I don't know what more. If this finishes as a 5.5 or a 6, I need you folks to understand, as we've pontificated throughout this whole show, this is a family-oriented horror movie. So when you're competing with Last House on the Left, if you're competing with a House of 1,000 Corpses, if you're competing with Hostel, where they're like literally chopping people's bodies, or a Terrifier, where you're sawing a girl from her vagina through her skull, like, you have to put it in comparison. So don't take offense if you are a Poltergeist fan.
They understand.
I hope so.
This is a family. This is kind of like a family horror movie. And we're rating it as a horror movie. So we can only go so high when you do this, okay? When almost everybody can watch it, you can only go so high. But I will fuck with this movie, too. So that is 6 out of 10 total for the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating of Poltergeist 1982.
Yeah,
now, the only reason it's so low on the horror scale is because there's no kills. So please keep that in mind.
There's no deaths, but there is some fear elements. And I tell you what, if, it's just a lot of fun. And honestly, throughout this whole time of discussing this movie, like, I know the answer, but I'm really interested to hear the explanation. And that's of your fucking segment, Mark. Your parent segment, because you're not a parent, and if you had kids, what are you gonna do with them, Mark? Let me hear what you're gonna fucking do with them. Let's go. Hit the fucking music.
I missed you, mister.
Mr. Rollsock. Tell him if they're old enough.
How old?
To watch that scary stuff.
Shit.
For the parents who give up.
What a hot jam.
Oh, yeah. So, Mark, here's the thing. Folks, boys and girls, as we just stated, Ozark Mark does not have kids, so I find that, because I'm a fucking nerd, man. I'm trying to force my kids, not force them, but like whenever they're cool with watching something, I'm going to let them watch something. And I'm probably the wrong person to ask, so I really like Mark, because Mark, your wife, I mean, I believe you guys got younger brothers and sisters, things like that, so you occasionally have some younger kids in your life, so this is a really fun aspect.
I mean,
for
I
you.
used to. They're almost both in high school now, so.
Well.
But yeah, I've had children of a young age in my possession.
So you know that
times.
experience. So
Yes.
I really find that fun because you know, I mean, you're not trying to fuck somebody's kid up and say like, "Here, watch The Exorcist," and go back
this
home
is
to your
perfect. It's
parents.
perfect too because I'm always eerie about some horror movies, and I gotta really think about it. So, especially some that I see. So Poltergeist.
Yeah, man. If you got some
1980.
kids over, I imagine it's not going to be too old of an age, but
No, well, this is a tough one because, like I said, I mean, I think the last time I saw this movie was when I was like 6 or something. Granted, it was on TV, and I don't think I saw the whole thing. But ever since I was 6 years old, the only thing I remembered for this movie, like I said, was the pool scene where there's a bunch of dead bodies.
yeah,
You know, and she's screaming, and that's an intense kind of scene. Now that I look at it now, it's not. Now that I see it's got the whole family, like I said, Ghostbusters, Goonies type of feel, Indiana Jones type, Steven Spielberg kind of filming it. So, but you got to understand that when you're younger, you see things once, and then you let their imagination does the fucking rest.
it locks in them retinas.
It locks in them, and then they start building things, and then like I don't remember this movie being like this at all. You know what I mean? I thought it was a lot scarier. Like, when I first saw it, I was like, this is rated PG? Like, there's no way. So, you know, I mean, I really think it is a family horror movie. There's nothing crazy that you don't want any of your kids to see. There's nothing in there like that. So
Should I let my 3-year-old watch it?
your 3-year-old can watch anything, okay? Because she's a psychopath.
She kind of is.
But
dude.
if you have a normal child, 8.
8's perfect, dude.
I think 8's good because, you know.
I actually didn't let my youngest watch it. I was down here doing laundry earlier, just, you know, because I always watch the movie again day of. Like, I'll watch it usually a couple days before, but it's like one of those where, like, I fall asleep to it kind of thing, where I just put it on, I'll make it like halfway through. But a lot of these movies I've seen, I can't tell you how many times I've seen this fucking movie. But I put it back on today because there's just kind of a, be it the soundtrack, the score, whatever's going on. I mean, Mark, there's many times you've come over and the movie's still on. Like, obviously I've seen it. I don't need to watch it again, but it just puts you in the fucking mindset and the feel. But she came down here, and it was the scene where the lightning, and I knew the clown was about to come up, and I was like, let's go back upstairs. let's go back upstairs.
It's either that, if the kid has a fear of clowns, might be that, or again, it's the final where all the dead bodies and stuff are coming up. So that might freak some kind of child out.
Yeah, if it's like the chair scene, like you're like, okay, maybe. Like there's lots of parts that are
It's
cool.
very lighthearted. And they'll learn to be not scared of it because they're still living in their house. Like when he opens the door and stuff flying around, he's like, oh yeah, here. And like they're not scared of it anymore. So like, you gotta think of that. I think 8 you'll be safe. If your kid's a little tougher or a little bit more psychotic, you can go younger than that, like
maybe
Christian.
5. Yeah.
You can. You could do whatever you want here. I'm just trying to tell you.
You know what we didn't discuss, Mark? This could be a runner-up for favorite scene. You remember when the wife was excited because the chairs were moving, and then the husband gets home, and like as soon as he gets home, he's just like normal dad, just like close my fucking car door, and she's like, he's trying to take the trash cans in because of course she didn't. And she's like, come here, you've got to see this, and she runs and grabs his hands, and she like drags him to the door. He has to like drop the trash can. I thought that was such a funny scene, but like kind of realistic, just in the sense of like, what are you doing, woman? I'm trying to fucking do something.
When they get excited, you have to drop everything.
Oh, dude, yeah.
No matter what it is.
So I'm going through this phase, and you're gonna fucking hear about it. Okay. All right, tell me everything, please.
Well, Christian Ramey, we are running out of time here. We like to keep it at a certain time for you motherfuckers.
The grains of sand are falling low.
Motherfuckers. So
The fackles.
that's it for you for Poltergeist, 1982. Great movie, great family film. Good thing
It
to
doesn't
watch.
feel like 1982, if I can say one last thing about it. It really doesn't. I'm not saying it feels like it's 2022, but it's weirdly it doesn't. Even though that is 1982, it's still super fucking watchable. You're not gonna watch this like, what is this weird old film? I gotta force myself to watch this. It's very watchable. Like, I mean, I don't know if it's just me, but I'm like, I can fall right back into it. It looks well. It's not too like old or dated looking for being that old. I mean, it's older than you and I. It's older than you and I, and it just doesn't feel like that at all. So that's good stuff, man. Now, if you guys have to look at this here, we've got 2 more episodes after this, correct, Mark?
I think so.
Or you can beep it out. We have... and then we have...
We got 2 episodes left? Okay. Sorry. I don't know, man.
No, we do. We do.
I have the list somewhere. I just don't have it in front of me. I'm sorry.
No, we do. And the only hint I'm going to give you folks...
Oh, give me the hint at the next movie. Do it.
They're both Stephen King's.
Ooh.
But not your typical... We've done
Oh, wait,
quite a
I know
few.
what they both are now. I remember. Yeah.
Now, if you're smart enough, you can, if you're looking at me right now, Ozark's the producer. Now, I don't know if it's on my face right now during the video part, but if it is, if you paused it, you could really just pause the scene and look behind me, and you can find all the resources. Now, which one it is? There's a lot of Stephen King back there, baby, so you're really going to have to figure it out. But think of winter and think of having a fun time, and you could probably have an assumption. So, and that's the only hint I'm going to give you. So if you're an audio listener on one of our audio platforms, maybe you should hop to the YouTube if you're really that curious.
Maybe you should do it visually.
I'm your biggest fan. But, I think if we get to the bottom of this, Mark, I've talked to, because I don't know about you, Mark. You tell me right now. You're the you took a break, right?
Right.
And we can take another week or 2 break in between the seasons if you would like. But I'm telling you, I've taken polls. I've asked people if they'd rather have like a poll of the people and see what movies they want, or if we'd rather a season of sequels. And like everyone has said a season of sequels.
Wow.
And people have really liked that idea. And I'm on TikTok Live quite often, and I ask all the time, because obviously that's our job to try to give you guys what you want. I mean, we can act as confident as we want, but at the end of the day, without you guys, we aren't shit. So all the people I've asked, everyone has said a season, a sequel. So I don't know if you want to take a break or not in between. You don't have to answer right now, but we can get to the bottom of it. But I'm really feeling confident on the season of sequels because there's so many horror franchises out there with great. I mean, think about this: A Nightmare on Elm Street. Just the initial. There's 7. There's 7 of those motherfuckers. We've only talked about one of them.
Yeah.
We talk about Freddy Krueger like he's something, but it wasn't just one movie. I mean, there's fucking 7 of these sons of bitches.
Yeah.
Plus Freddy vs. Jason.
Yeah.
We're not talking about the remake. Ever.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, folks. You'll see what's coming up, but next week, well, this week actually, because you're listening today because it's a Monday. This week is the start of some contest. We're going to have some stuff. I don't know if it's going to be candles, some stickers, some
We don't
t-shirts.
know yet. Just pay attention on social media, okay? Make sure you follow us on all the social media. We got contests. We got special edition shirts that only are going to be given out on contests. These shirts, you can't buy them. They're not part of this shirt is not a part of something I'm designing for our everyday merch. This
One
is
of a
special.
kind.
This is one of a kind. It's getting screen printed. It's a nice fucking shirt. It's a nice fucking shirt. I don't even have one of the shirts.
Exactly.
Okay?
And
That's
then,
how nice it is.
And then also, folks, I am launching the website again because we put it down to do some adjustments on there. So if you guys have tried to go the last couple of weeks, we put it down to make some adjustments. But
It ain't there.
what we want to do, folks, is give you guys a news source because my main goal here is at Sloppy Horror to teach you guys the impact of horror movies. Mm-hmm. And if we don't stop making, look at this. It's 2021. What horror movies did we have? We had Halloween. We had Candyman. We had a Chucky TV series. And now we have Scream 5 coming out. This is shit that was our childhood. You know, when I was born, Ozark Mark, it was 1989. And Halloween was already on their 5th movie. Mm-hmm. I'm 32 and there's now more? Mm-hmm. That's silly, guys. They're piggybacking off of legends. And I don't like that at all. And I would much rather, think about it. You and I could afford to make Terrifier. And that's fucking legendary because you're giving us a new killer. You're giving us new stuff. So with these news sources, we will tell you about the popular movies and like the crazy things, but the main point is I want to shine some light on these lower directors and movies that need light. Mark, when we were in high school, you could take a date out to the movies. You can go to the movie, not a date or whatever. You can go to the movies or with your friends, and there would be movies like 13 Ghosts, Skeleton Key, Joyride, random B-picture horror movies that you could just go like fucking see and enjoy, and they weren't promoted like an Avengers movie. They weren't promoted like this last Halloween Kills. Now, this isn't all production companies' faults because Netflix is out and people would much rather watch movies at home without their pants on, and I get that. Yeah. But that's why we're creating the news source, Mark, because we want folks to have access to other movies, because if you're looking for some horror movies, I mean, most people these days, if it isn't in the trending now on Netflix, they're just not watching it. Have you seen Tiger King? Have you seen Squid Games? People just want to watch the It thing. So we're going to spread some news about that. So we got contest, we got a news source coming out. Guys, we are going so fucking Bananarama for this year. We're not playing games, man. We're not fucking playing games. Sloppy Horror, honestly, if we had a fucking motto, it's what's best for the genre. I love horror movies so much, and I want to see what's best for the genre, even if it was better, if it does better than I do. So that's what our goal is here, and I fucking appreciate all of you guys. So look forward to these contests, these one-of-a-kind shirts Mark's talking about. And you don't know. I don't know if it's going to be shirts next week. It might just be some candles, whatever. But these fucking things, Mark's been brewing up some shit, man. You wait for what Ozark's got in store. And what Old Christian's got in store. We're here to bring you what we need, folks. Because do we talk about new horror movies every week? No, we don't. First off, I'm not going to take an hour to talk about a new movie, because, especially if I don't like it, because I'm not going to take an hour to talk about something I don't like.
Right.
But folks, I hope if we can do anything, we can teach you the impact of these movies. Jaws came out. Sharks are over. Hunted. People don't think about that. But there are impacts of these movies, and since the beginning of time, there have been fucking horror movies, and we are here to represent that, and we are here to save the genre. I care more about the genre than my fucking self. So if you guys are here, we appreciate you. We fucking love you. And also, too, I mean, Mark and I aren't the kind of guys that are like, hey, guys, smash that fucking like button, bro. We're going to be back next week. We hate that shit, like with a deep level of fire within our soul that is not us. So if I can give you something that's not that way, I don't know what you're watching on or what you're listening on, but if you're on YouTube right now, give us a fucking like. You're going to watch the whole episode, but you're not going to like it or give us a comment. We want to know where you're from. If you hate the episode, tell us. We don't. If you're on Spotify, they have ratings now. Just give us. I am. Don't you wrap me up. Don't you wrap me up. Woo! Ric Flair.
You're rambling on far too long here.
No,
Save
I'm not.
your rambles for the live.
Oh, I do, folks, but there are people that only listen to our episodes and not our lives. Well, that is true. Find me on TikTok Live. But all I'm saying is, folks, make sure that you're a part of this. And wherever you're listening, we don't really give a fuck if you give likes or comments or shares. We don't care. We would just rather be here to entertain you, and that would mean the world to us more than anything. But it really does appease the YouTube gods, the TikTok gods, the Spotify gods. They really like that shit when you guys give ratings and comments and likes and shares. So it would really mean the fucking world to us as a growing channel. So, I'm sorry, Ozark. I just had to get that part out. I love you boys and girls. Ozark's pretty cool, too. He's looking at me like he's going to kill me. You got anything, buddy?
No.
Go Bengals?
I can't, because I don't know what's going to happen. The game is Saturday, and now technically this is Monday, so I don't know if they won or lost yet.
They got a chance with the Raiders. I think they got a chance with the Raiders. All right, guys, we hope you have a great week, and we will be back. 2 more episodes on this season.